This is our deck dinner for December the 9th, 2018. And I'm having a bean dip with fresh organic sage and organic lemon juice and some garlic, and it's white bean based. And there's also some onion in there. And it'll be good. I tried some while I was mixing it. And this is a pumpkin curry kind of soup. And I've thickened mine with potato. James's has coconut milk in it also. And he has sauerkraut and some honey mustard dip for his nuggets there. And his bean dip is fresh tarragon and salmon. I think that was all I put in that one. Oh, lime juice too. Anyway, these are the beautiful little cranberry pulp fudge that I made with some greens protein or whatever powder icing and raspberries on top. So that's a real treat. Oh, there we go. My knees are hyperextended, so it's kind of a pain. It took a long time for them to heal the last time that happened, so I'm very frustrated. But anyway, I will talk about these movies. There's a poem I'm working on that one. James likes my poetry. It's very silly little girl poetry. It's not like his. He's like a professional poetry writer, and I just play around. But if it makes him happy that I'm doing it, I'm thrilled. Maybe I'll be able to learn a few things off him, and my poetry will get better. Okay, this one was boring. Really boring. I didn't even watch it. I was in the kitchen. The countryside was pretty. That's all I could really tell you. There were some sheep. So, this, Black Hawk, Oil is God. This was the worst movie we've ever seen. Ever. I mean, it's sort of documentary-ish, but then they pulled this, I don't know, it's like some sort of sci-fi spirituality thing into it. And, I mean, this is so bad on so many levels. The only thing that they didn't get wrong, really, when making this film was the camera. The quality of the camera work was actually good. So whoever they hired for that, maybe he can get or she can get a job somewhere else and doing something worthwhile. This was not worthwhile, but I did watch the whole thing. There was like this the subtitles were microscopic. They were no help to me. So it wasn't all in English, and I mean, there was I know it was from India because they had the Indian flag, and then they had like they had a universe flag. But if you want to see the worst movie ever made, wow. So that was Black Hawk. Terrible. The Paper Store. This is one of the best movies ever made. So awesome. I'll read to you what I wrote down about it. I thought this was one of the best films I've seen this year. I think ever. The story is believable and well told. A young man hires an academic ghostwriter to forge an entire MFA for him. The two have an affair. The woman feels scorned and decides to turn the man and herself in. The instructor, who she came out to, is trying to get tenure, so he decides to allow the master's student to rewrite the assignments and hire the ghostwriter as a teaching assistant. The ghostwriter ends up doing the instructor's work for him, and he gets tenure. The ghostwriter is frustrated with the system, but this way she is able to afford to complete her academic career. Her paper writing company was called the Paper Store, but we see by watching this that academia is ultimately the paper store. You pays your money, you gets your MFA or whatever, right? And
you waste your time.
We actually know somebody who ghostwrites.
Sort of. No, well, it's not like that.
I'm not going to say who it is ever.
It's not quite the same. It works out.
She says that she learns a great deal about many subjects that she never knew anything about before. No?
Oh, okay. Well, so this is a dip?
No, that's your soup.
Oh.
Sorry, I should have explained it to you. That's
Hummus?
no, it's a dip, bean dip, but it's with fresh tarragon and well-caught Pacific salmon, and
This is a dip.
yeah, that's the honey mustard dip for the nuggets. And
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Good.
so try her out.
I better eat this first.
You can eat whatever you want first.
Yeah, I won't be able to eat. Is this hot or is this?
No, try it. Let's try a little spoonful. It's not very spicy. What do you think?
That's not bad.
Yeah. Okay. So before I get to the good stuff, I'll talk about this. 100 Days of Real Food on a Budget. And when you read this, you realize what she means by real food is meat-based or cheese in every recipe almost. And
Is that her family then?
yeah, like she has one recipe here is like this one isn't meat-based. It's stir-fry broccoli, which is broccoli, coconut oil, garlic cloves, salt, and pepper. That's a recipe apparently. And she has another one that's campfire potatoes. I bet you can guess how to make those. Yeah, those are like James kind of recipes. He could make a cookbook like that. And that took 2 pages, that broccoli stir fry. It took a great big picture of broccoli and the other facing page. And then we have a whole bunch of meat things in here. There's a few that aren't, but honestly, not a lot of healthy stuff in here anyway. But walnut crusted salmon, cost per serving $3.97. Mushroom and Brussels sprout quesadillas, cost per serving $3.90, and that one does not have any meat in it, but it does have cheese, so that's a lot of cheese, so that's what pumped up the price on that one. Spaghetti squash carbonara, I don't even know why this was this expensive. The cost per serving $3.64.
Wow.
Yeah, well, bacon, I guess. Honestly, I was looking at that and I couldn't figure it out.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, it's not too
You
bad.
got it? Oh, you don't have it. So that's a bacon. It's not
Yeah.
even bits. That's stupid.
I don't know. Whatever. Then there's
It
some
looked
Parmesan
okay,
in there.
you know,
That
like-
would have packed up the price too. Anyway, Swedish meatballs, cream and a lot of meat. And that cost per serving is $3.44 for 4 meatballs. And I mean, I'd recommend making that with, not with heavy cream. You could make it with coconut milk if you really wanted to, but I wouldn't even put that in there. I'd just make it with shiitake mushrooms. So, slow cooker carrot curry soup, which is sort of like what I did here. And that one costs per serving 88 cents for a bowl of soup. So if you don't eat meat, you can actually get real food on a serious budget. I mean, I would have changed this slow cooker curry soup to say you can, instead of the cream, you can make it creamy with, say, white beans, which I use to make these dip.
You left the salmon over that.
Yeah,
Different
mine
color,
is,
eh?
yeah. Mine is.
I was a bit worried about you.
Oh,
there.
well, you can try mine later too.
No.
Slow cooker Costa Rican red beans is 65 cents per serving. So, I mean, if you want to get real food on a budget, look to vegan, honestly. Now this one, Love Your Lunch Cookbook, this is like, James could make every recipe in this. And James really only knows how to make sandwiches.
I know how to make toast.
He can make
sandwiches.
Toast. Yeah.
And
so
I think I can make tea. I can kind of make boiled eggs. I think
you could.
Yeah.
So anyway, he could make every recipe in this. It's really not, I wouldn't even say it's a cookbook, really.
Oh well.
But I'm going to try the recipe on page 98, which is a beet and apple salad with a cumin orange dressing. So I think that might be nice. And then there's another one here I'm going to try that's butternut squash recipe. It doesn't seem that exciting. And then there's another one with fennel bulbs, which also doesn't seem that exciting. But you know, it might be okay. So
what's a salad?
Yeah. So I'm going to try to.
I've done some nuts in there. Oh, it's got olives.
Yeah, it has olives, but I could put some walnuts in for you.
I wouldn't. Why don't you got olives in there?
Anyway.
Olives offers a different taste than the veggie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does it have some olive oil in? Oh, you put it away.
I put it away. It'll be good. I'll make it one of these days. So I'm going to talk about quench, which I did not expect to enjoy at all. I mean, how can you write a book that thick about hydration? Well, they didn't. What they did is, these ladies do know quite a bit about hydration, and I was impressed with the first bit of it. And then it just became another paleo diet sort of thing, which has nothing to do with the hydration thing. But paleo's really popular these days.
Well,
so
our
they
paleo
wanted in on that
ancestors
too.
must have drunk water, right?
You betcha they would have.
That's about the level of research.
But it's more than just drinking water. It says 8 glasses a day is not the way. And I will talk about that because I wrote down a bunch of notes. So you can follow along in your copy. Page 31. Turahumara tribe of the Sierra Madres run 50-mile marathons. They eat chia seeds and fermented corn beer prior to the run and take 2 tablespoons of chia with them on the run. The chia forms a gel when mixed with fluid, which hydrates more slowly and effectively over time than liquid alone. Page 38. Brain has the consistency of gelatin. 43. Most of the body's detoxification occurs while sleeping. While you sleep, your body increases movement of cerebral, spinal fluid, intestinal fluid in your brain, spine, lymph system, and other key areas. This increase in fluid movement helps your body and brain clear metabolites and toxins such as beta amyloid protein, which contributes to cells. 51. Water exists in phases other than liquid, vapor, and ice. 2008 Harvard University research. Water inside cellular protein is different from liquid water and forms an ordered hexagonal shape that comes in many sheets or layers. The water inside iceberg lettuce is really a super hydrating food. It's structured water. Gel water is a different stage of water. It moistens longer and conducts electrical function in the body far more efficiently. When minerals from plants are dissolved in water, they release their electrical charge. Yerba mate is made from a type of holly tree. Healthy. 54. Hydration happens when sunlight hits water molecules even through our skin. When the light wave reaches water, the water molecule splits. Now the water is more negatively charged. Sun and water turns us into batteries. Sunlight and infrared light and all the spectrums in between determine our energy and the quality of our hydration. And anyway, they have a lot of hydrating foods listed, and they're all fruits and vegetables. 65. We store fluid intracellularly and extracellularly. ICF holds about 60 to 65% of the body water inside the cell. The ECF holds about 35 to 40% water surrounding the cell. Things like chloride, potassium, magnesium, and sodium help keep ICF and ECF levels balanced. Probiotics and fermented drinks indisputably bind toxins, molds, heavy metals, and carry them out of the body without getting absorbed. Ingesting fermented foods drink help our body function better than our water filters. 81. Fascia is gauzy tissue that is under skin, around organs and bone. Fascia is an electrical system run on and made of water. There are far more fascia than nerves in our bodies. Fascia is like the fiber optic system of communication info in the body. Dr. Mei-Wan Ho, biophysics nanoparticle scientist. Nanotubes exist in fascia, and microscopic water crystals are aligned by collagen fibers equals superconduction. Fascia is also a sonic system, one that utilizes vibrational energy and sound energy. Just squeezing a quartz crystal between your fingers creates electricity. Liquid crystalline structure gel water responds to pressure. 98. Micromovements aid in the outflow work of expelling old fluids full of cellular waste. Target small movements to stiff parts of the body. Limited mobility starts with underuse, which accumulates cellular waste and creates inflammation. 99. Twisting or spiraling is found in Tai Chi and yoga. When you rotate your spine, you give it a spiral squeeze. Once you release from the twist, you draw up fresh fluids full of oxygen and nutrients. Twisting is an efficient anti-inflammatory tactic. 110. Cellular dehydration happens by accumulation of waste and toxins. As you age, cell membranes stiffen membranes, prevent hydration, and essential nutrients and oxygen from entering the cell. The cell needs these things to expel waste products. 111. High-fat, low-carb diet improves mitochondria function. Mulberry fruit and slippery inner bark contain linoleic acids which optimize hydration and help absorb fat, soluble nutrients from our diet. Mulberry tea is served in Asia in late afternoon when hydration levels decline. Camel's humps are made of fat. 112. They suggest adding egg yolk, EVOO, and some red meat and cheese to your salad to improve your health. I disagree. Add chia, flaxseed, or whole nuts and seeds. Those are nutrient-dense fat sources that'll improve your health. All monounsaturated fats, seeds, avocado, are omega-9 fats. The lower, they reduce cardiovascular disease. Polyunsaturated fat, walnut, salmon, sardines, omega-3, omega-6 are polyunsaturated fat. Omega-3 fats can increase mood and defend against depression. They lower blood pressure, balance cholesterol. Your body absorbs omega-3 better than other fats. They reduce inflammation. ALA, DHA, EPA are good. O3, but the last two are best. ALA from plants like chia. DHA and EPA are marine sources, seafood and algae. GLA is omega-6 from primrose and borage oil, mixed sex hormones. Omega-6 is common fatty acid in American diet. Your brain's white matter contains phospholipids. Those are type of fat that are a major component of cell membranes. Phospholipids play a role in many metabolic processes. They're made of both saturated and monounsaturated. She says our bodies can't make saturated fat. We have to eat it to feed our brain. I have not read that. Our bodies can't make omega-3. 117. The healthiest saturated fats are short-chain fatty acids found in butter, ghee, high-fat dairy. These are high in butyrate, which protects against colon cancer, serves as a potent form of energy for the cells in your gastrointestinal tract, and lowers inflammation. Medium-chain triglycerides. Coconut palm kernel oil. MCTs can't cross the blood-brain barrier, so brain can't use them as fuel. LCFA in processed oils and lard. 142. Rose petals are high pectin. They purify and help memory. Bacteria die within 5 minutes of contact with fresh rose petals. 148. Knowing that dairy can cause inflammation and stomach issues, I asked her to eliminate it for 3 weeks. That was a quote. But then on page 117, remember she had recommended that. So anyway, Dr. Guy Voyard.
What is that?
My writing's hard to read. Without alignment, the spinal disc loses its water content, dehydrates, and loses its hydrostatic pressure, osmotic. Without osmotic pressure, fluid can't easily get where we need it, even when well hydrated. 160. When we're stressed, our levels of cortisol, and other stress hormones go up. These fluids are in all of our fluids. Blood and saliva. 174. Alfalfa sprouts, 90% water, trace minerals, manganese. Vital for efficient digestion. You know what? I wrote down a whole bunch of things about these different foods that I don't think I need to talk about here. You can just look them up. They're on those pages. They suggest avoiding sweeteners as much as possible. Opting for natural, from fruit usually, but not agave. 180. Eat fruit, veggies, soup, nut, legume, fish. Avoid simple carbs, pasta, bread, processed food, added sugar, trans fat, hydrogenated oil, artificial sweetener. 5-day quench plan. 1 to 2 cups of water before each meal, not necessarily when taking smoothie as meal. It's not necessary for that. Yeah, because it's warm-ish. 2 lemon water. Can also use 1 to 2 teaspoons apple cider vinegar or mint, rosemary, chamomile. These release essential oils that help body absorb water. 3 morning smoothie. Drink within 2 hours of waking. And there's a few recipes there. In their 5-day plan, they don't suggest eating any meal besides smoothie for 5 days. It's fluid mostly. Well, like I said, smoothie is sort of ish. And then page 197, they suggest continuing that for 3 months if it feels good. And it's like, wow, would you ever not be healthy if you did that?
You wouldn't be feeling good. It's a big if. It's just one of those ifs.
Anyway, like really, that just check it out. The 5-day plan. You would only have enough energy for the micronutrients if you were already a healthy weight and you did that. For the micro movements that they were talking about. That's all. You wouldn't be able to go out jogging because you just feel faint, I betcha. Anyway, I don't know if I need to read all this stuff. There was a lot of stuff. Once they got out of their area of knowledge, which was hydration, it's really not worth reading. So, I wrote down a bunch of recipes, like 216 cacao quench for 2. I'm going to try that on James. I bet you he'll like that. And 219 fennel pistachio soup, 220 chilled honeydew pear soup. And there's a few things here that I thought the recipes sounded all right, actually. So I'm going to try a few of them. But anyway, so the next one up is the breakthrough, immunotherapy, and the race to cure cancer. Now, I don't think this guy did a great job writing it, but it's a tough thing to write about. I'd read about this before. Well, I'll talk about that in a bit. Anyway, so page 1. The 3 cancer treatments: cut, burn, poison, cure cancer in half the people who develop the disease. Page 63. B cells defend us against disease by creating antibodies. Sticky Y-shaped molecules that grab and onto and hold non-self cells to be neutralized. 4 or 6 cells have foreign particles on their surface, antigens. Every B cell makes antibodies to fit a randomly assigned antigen type. There are 3 billion B cells in your bloodstream. If they find a corresponding antigen, they clone themselves. In 12 hours, that B cell can make 20,000 cloned copies of itself. The antibodies on the B B cell surface target the non-self antigens on the foreign cells at a rate of 2,000 per second. The macrophages show up, opsonizing the foreign invader cell, gets stuck, and then eaten. 65. T cells look almost identical to B cells, but they recognize and kill 6 cells in a totally different manner. B cells originate in bone marrow, travel the bloodstream, and then die. Some take an extra side trip into the butterfly-shaped gland between the sternum thymus. They pour into the bloodstream. From there, more come out than went in. These cells are uniquely responsible for very specific aspects of immune response, such as organ rejection after surgical transplant. 67. CD8 and CD4, killers and helpers. 68. Viruses inject body cells and virus DNA. Once that's inside the cell, it's too late for the B cell to stop.
Where is it?
I don't know.
Well, just
it doesn't matter.
Where is it?
It's there. I've abbreviated something, and it doesn't even look like English anymore. With antibodies, if the virus makes it into the normal body cell and infects it, that cell changes. It starts expressing different proteins on its surface, killing that sick cell. Are the T cell's specialty. Cancer's mutated self cell, so T cell didn't recognize this type of sick cell. 77. We all have approximately 300 billion T cells circulating through our bodies, each a lottery ticket tuned to every possible antigen recognized in combo. At most, only a few dozen T cells have the same winning ticket. Interleukin-2 fertilizer degrades fast, half-life of less than 3 minutes. 101 CD28 cluster of differentiators, like the T cells gas pedal. Second signal turn on T cells. CTLA-4 was third go. Signal more like brake pedal. CTLA-4 blocking antibody cured most cancer. Antibodies that block CTLA-4 receptor in T cells could block cancer cells before they shut down. T cell activation. Allison's anti-CTLA-4 antibody, patented by 2001. IODI was being produced. MDX-010. 167 Frankenstein T cell, designed specifically to seek and destroy. Thank you. Patient's own cancer. It's called a chimeric antigen receptor T cell, CAR T. It's a re-engineered human T cell. 167 TCR, T cell receptor. Change can change what the T cell targets? I don't know. In 1985, Zelig Eshar, Israeli, made the T-body. Honestly, I'm not into all this filler. That is the dramatized case studies. I understand that it's tough to make Dr. Rosenberg's and others' research in this field an interesting read for most people. I have to admit I felt it challenging reading about the work of these researchers in the past. Perhaps a different journalist might have been able to tell the story in a more appealing way. I was getting really fed up at this point, and I was only on page 168. 178. CAR T. Patients had a 0% survival rate, now stand at 83% or higher. They're now targeting it for leukemia, chronic lymphocytic leukemia, multiple myeloma, recurrent glioblastoma, advanced ovarian cancer, and mesothelioma. Solid tumors still remain a challenge. 181. Anti-CTLA-4 drugs have serious toxic side effects, but used in immunotherapies. Anti-PD-1 maybe